broadcast is live. Are we live? Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Hi, Hillary. Thanks for joining.
For sure.
So, guys, if you are watching this live, this is my teacher and my friend, Hilaire Lockwood. She's broadcasting with us from Chicago. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming, Hillary. I want you to introduce yourself. Will you tell everybody who you are and what you do? I know it's a lot.
I'm Hilaire Lockwood. I do yoga. No, I have been on my mat now for 30 years. I trained with Mari Azrati long time ago, 30 years ago, in LA at the original Yoga Works. Yeah, and I've been on my mat ever since. I moved from LA in 2000, I want to say 3 December, so almost 2004. Hilltop Yoga opened in 2004. Yeah, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
And so your studio is in Lansing, and you also have a studio, thank goodness, in Chicago, right?
Yeah, so we have a studio in Old Town, Lansing. That's the more original location. And then my studio in Chicago is Grace and Clark. So right in Wrigleyville, right in Lakeview, storefront. Awesome.
Right. It's a beautiful spot. Both are.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is just a casual chat, but I was really interested in the way that yoga has changed a little bit. I mean, yoga hasn't changed, right? But the way we teach has changed, and just some things around it have changed. So you have a studio. You have 2 brick and mortar studios, and they are no longer, they're closed.
They're closed for 2 months now. I mean, I feel like this. There are positives to all of this as well, and I have a bit of a different view on this whole thing. Just because I lived with cancer for 16 years, I do not feed into the fear of all of this. I refuse to do that. I lived in that space of illness and the fear that can bring, and that fear is actually paralyzing. So where I am with this whole thing is a little different than other people. I'm still, trying to show up at the studio and do what we do virtually. And yeah, so here we are with 2 buildings that have been shut down for 2 months. But I feel like this was the positive push, truly, that I needed to begin our virtual platform. It's been only 2 months, and we've been virtual now for a little bit less than that. And I have 100 classes of content already. So we've only put 36 out there on demand, but we have so much content. Our teachers are extraordinary. I mean, I love that I can sort of feature our teachers in this platform this way, and that they're getting worldwide exposure. We're doing things a little different than other people are doing them, though. And I like that once I kicked it off that way, it kind of spread throughout Chicago as well. I watched this kind of happen, which is really sweet. So we decided not to Zoom right away, because Zoom, your students have to, I guess they don't because we do this on Sunday, but your students have to get a link, and then that requires them to sign in, et cetera, et cetera. We wanted to make sure that we were going to be available for free as well. So I use an incredible platform that allows us to stream on 5 Facebooks at the same time.
I was curious about that.
Yeah, including YouTube. And it's the only platform that allows you to stream multiple broadcasts or multiple streams at the same time. I do use 3 devices, though, on Sunday. So we use the Facebooks are all streaming live, and then I use another device for Instagram, and then I use another device for Zoom. So like on Sunday mornings, we have 5 Facebooks playing, Instagram live, as well as the Zoom link. And that's all being broadcast free. We're asking people to sign in on a good faith basis, which I felt was really important. Lots of people have lost their jobs. Lots of people have not. So I feel like those people that have the means can still sign in, and those that don't, they still get practice, they still get class, which is super important.
Agree. And you also have the Vimeo sites where you can purchase, right? You can either rent or you can purchase.
Yeah, so Vimeo is the platform. And the reason I even knew about Vimeo is because I lived in LA for 13 years, and it's the platform that actors and like Sundance, Tribeca, the smaller like indie film studios use to blast their, you know, their stuff before the festivals. So yeah, it's an amazing platform because it allows you to do all of these things at one time. But at the same time, it records whatever you're filming in HD, then saves it on demand, but then allows a separate on-demand platform. So we've got a library that, like I said, is over 100 classes. I can pick through, offer a certain amount of those for free for a limited amount of time, lock them when I want them locked, but then push them into the demand menu on our website, hilltopyoga.com. There's my plug. Push them onto the on-demand menu as I choose. So right now, like we have bundle sales. So I pulled off of the on-demand menu individual videos that are for sale in the bundles. So yeah, like you can rent us for $8. You can own us for 12.
I bought a video the other day and it was great.
It's really cheap.
It's really great quality. So I was thinking, so everything that you said, it kind of answered one of my questions, not one, but I was noticing that you guys did not hesitate at all. The studio's closed and you were like, boom, we're out here. These are our classes. You hit the ground running. And so is part of the reason it's been so, maybe, I don't know if it's been smooth, but just so wonderful is because we're thinking about this ahead of time. I mean, I'm not saying it didn't go smooth, but
it's so not smooth. I have a couple of amazing people on our team. Charlie is our web guy. He's been extraordinary. Drew stamps our logo because I want everything that goes out there for purchase or for sale to have our logo stamp on it. That's an arduous task, by the way. And you have to have the right upload equipment. Otherwise, I'd be doing it. I have literally learned technology in like a month. Jesse and I have been busting our asses to try to, because we don't do this stuff. I don't. I knew nothing about technology. That's why I have other people doing this shit. Sorry, I keep swearing. I keep swearing.
Than I am with this.
But I'm learning it, and now I'm the one doing it. So it's working. I mean, for me, I've always been a hit the ground running kind of person. I don't hesitate, especially in crisis. I knew one thing. I knew that I was only going to be able to pull the government language for long enough to keep 5 bodies in the room for only so long.
I saw that, right?
And then long enough to keep our one body in the room forever. I mean, that one body is our essential employee for inventory, which we constantly need. Otherwise, we're out of business for real. As well as, you know, you could pull the spiritual piece, as churches were exempt right off the bat because of the spiritual aspect of it. But no, yoga is necessary now more than ever. Right. It's why I'm teaching meditation virtually. It's why I'm teaching sutras virtually. I mean, we need to recognize that there are 7 other limbs. And right now, I do not believe that asana is the most important piece. I think the live aspect and being able to, you know, like I can put Rachel, because Vimeo goes to every smart TV. Mm-hmm. So I can have Rachel teaching Jesse in the room and maybe practicing with them in my living room. And that warms my heart because I miss my people. That's the hardest part, is that I miss my people.
Right.
But being able to do that feels pretty amazing. And knowing that people need their yoga. They need their yoga right now more than ever before. And that has to be all aspects of the practice. We have to be sitting in meditation. We have to be quieting down, because this stopping right now has been forced on us. Mm-hmm. We have to really think about that. If we're stopping and it's a choice, it feels different. But if we're stopping because someone's made us stop, that intention is not great. So knowing that we still have to be in our homes and knowing that we still have to be all together, sharing space with our families, right? Without killing somebody.
Really?
We need to be sitting in meditation. We need to be choosing to stop and be still for a minute. So, yeah, no, we hit the ground right away.
You did.
But that's also just the type of person I am.
I was going to say, I think that's you as like, as you're business minded, and also as well as being a yoga teacher, you can't just stop teaching. It's you know what I mean? Like if we're teaching, we want to be teaching. So.
Well, I mean, that's really hard too, because I went from, and Mati always used to tell me it's too much. Brian Kess tells me it's too much. I went from teaching 14 classes a week, having 2 trainings, so a training in each state at the same time, plus running multiple apprentices. Ask me if any of that has stopped.
Has it?
A little bit. I'm running a virtual 500. It's beautiful. I was worried because I'm all about the human aspect. Again, I feel like it's all about intention and what people are willing to give. These guys in this crew are so open and so all in that I don't feel like anything emotionally, mentally, spiritually is being missed. I feel like we're going to have to come back and revisit the adjustments piece.
Right.
Because teachers need to be able to adjust bodies. That's it. So I'm going to have to, bring this crew back in at some point and give them some adjustment workshops for sure so that we can get hands on bodies. But I don't feel anything else is being missed, which is really lovely. I mean, I was nervous about that. I will continue the virtual aspect of training for sure.
I was going to ask if some of this stuff, I'm going to plug in my laptop, sorry. I was going to ask if this has changed, like you said, like nothing feels like it's missing. So do you feel like it's in addition, it's something that you're going to add to Hilltop, I think.
Yeah.
And I think you spread out, sorry to interrupt, but you're going to add to it. And then have you reached other people that you may not have necessarily reached doing this, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm scheduled to teach in Ireland in July. And this has been really sweet for them to be able to see, me as a teacher and follow my virtual classes. And it just kind of solidifies what they're getting, as a hired teacher, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I mean, I feel what I'll do is I think I'll use this aspect, the virtual aspect, at least once a month in Sunday mornings class, which we like to refer to as church.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I'll keep doing that. We'll keep, we won't be blasting content like we are right now, but we'll be definitely filming stuff once a month to continue to add to the virtual library. I also feel like in my trainings, I'm going to allow those that live far away and include 1 or 2 virtual students into the regular training with the bodies in the room.
Yeah, so it's awesome how it has evolved and you've been super innovative with this. It just, make a bad situation good, to put it simply. But, what I mean? Yeah, that's awesome.
No, I mean, it's been really sweet to have the people because, I've been training teachers now for almost 30 years. So to have people that live that are in other countries and other states, to be able to have them join in for practice is really, really extraordinary for them and for me.
I feel like maybe some people who may have been intimidated by a studio setting have now been able to experience some really amazing yoga classes. So I love it so much. It's awesome.
But I don't want anyone to misunderstand, and that there is no comparison to being in the room with your teacher and with other people.
Yeah, you have that.
I am without question a little heartsick right now in that because of that missing for sure. So I think online is always, there's a place for it. I think it's always going to be an amazing tool, but I do not think it should ever replace what we do and what we do for real.
It's supplemental, if anything. So yeah. I was going to ask, I asked Median because I feel like maybe not with you so much, but maybe with like less seasoned practitioners, our home practice is a little iffy sometimes. So I was wondering how I don't know if it's going to apply to you, but has your home practice changed now that studios are closed? I didn't think so.
No, but this is why. I mean, I would have stayed in Machi's room, in Vinny's room, in Brian Kest's room, Sean Korn. I would have stayed in these rooms forever. There would have been no reason for me to establish a home practice. That's the truth. And I speak that really freely. There's a place for home practice, but I wouldn't have found one unless I had to. I moved 3,000 miles away from my teacher, and I had to establish a practice. Coming back to my hometown, where there was no yoga being taught the way that I was teaching it. There was a lot of Iyengar yoga in Michigan at that point, and I wasn't able to go into a classroom and get what I needed. So I had to establish home practice. And I feel like that's what people are needing to do right now.
Agreed.
But no, I mean, what I find interesting for me, the only thing that's really changed is because of my level of missing my people, because I would pop into my teachers' rooms once a week, once a month, whatever. I do practice on Vimeo on my television set with these guys once a week now, where normally my practice all week long would be on my own.
Right.
Yeah, because I need to see my people. But what's cool is that I give you guys a little glimpse into my practice on my Friday morning. Like, my Friday morning is a follow the yogi, and then I continue it. So if you go on Vimeo, like this morning, I added like my advanced middle section that I would do on my own, for you guys just kind of to plug in to what I taught this morning. So yeah, it's nice. I mean, I feel like I've sort of opened a window into my practice for you guys to see a little bit more.
I love that side. It's playful. For those of you who don't know what follow the yogi is, it's when instead of Hilaire verbally teaching to another person, she's doing the yoga as she teaches, which is kind of how I've been doing it. But she has, like she's saying, she does it, and you follow along with her while she's instructing. I really like it. It has been really fun to see, to be in your room with you practicing, just kind of ad hoc, like without any preparation or anything. It feels really good. So.
Good. Yeah.
So I didn't want to keep you for too long, and I know Andrew, that's Andrew behind the scenes, guys. He's gonna tell me wrap it up. But I do have a couple more things I want to ask you. Let's see. This is gonna be, maybe this one's too long. It might be short, sweet, or I have 2 questions. I was gonna ask you if you only have 10 minutes on your mat, or like a really short amount of time, because I know you and you practice like for 3 hours. So
yeah, about 2.5 hours.
Pretend you can't. Hypothetically, you have 10 minutes. What's a go-to for you, or what would you suggest somebody to do? Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so first of all, I think time is the worst excuse on the planet. I just do. I think that there's always more than 10 minutes to be on your mat. I think we waste a lot of time. I think we waste time watching TV, and right now eating too much, and maybe drinking too early in the day. Is this just me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always time, always. But if you only have 10 minutes, truly, sit. Don't do asana at all. Sit your ass down, be quiet, listen to what your head has to tell you, because that's where the answers are. Asana is amazing, and I love it so much, but it does not crack the code like meditation does. Asana can feed the busy of a busy mind. It can feed the chitta-vritti.
Yeah.
Whereas if you take that 10 minutes to stop and just sit, you have to see the garbage that's spinning in your own head. And maybe that 10 minutes allows that spinning away, so that you realize, now I feel good. Now I think I'm going to push aside what I was going to do, and I'm going to do asana now that I'm clear, now that I'm clean.
I'm so glad I asked that. I think I knew that might be the answer too, but it's the truth. And everybody listening, it's so true. Do it. She's not lying. Let's see. Oh, this is maybe not a loaded question, but a lengthy one. Why do you teach yoga?
I don't know. I don't know. So here's what's really interesting is I picked up my Yoga Sutras at 18 years old. It's the book that I picked on my 18th birthday. That's weird, right? It's weird. But this was the book I chose as an 18-year-old who lived 2,000 miles away from home.
That's the Yoga Sutras that she just showed you, if anybody doesn't know where that is.
Yeah, it was just my language. And it spoke to my soul immediately. And I tell this story all the time, but because I was a competitive dancer and a competitive gymnast, I didn't want asana in my yoga. That's the truth. Asana was the last thing I added. I started in my sutras at 18. I didn't add asana until I was 21.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, and the first class I took was at LA Fitness. It was horrible. It was horrible in the way because I didn't really know yoga, the asana piece yet, right? It was horrible because I ate a giant breakfast and we were on plow for like 20 minutes and I was gonna barf. And I had like barf in my throat.
I've been there.
I walked away and I was like, this is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But I do remember that, there was no speaking about spirituality. There was no 8 limbs. It was all physical. So I didn't try again until like 2 weeks later. One of my sweet, sweet friends, soul sisters, Barbara, was like, come to a class with me. I go to this place called Inner Power in Calabasas. Still there. It's amazing.
Right.
And that class shifted a little something, but I still wasn't there. I felt that it was very physical. I felt that the competition comparison piece wasn't gone. And then one more time, Barbara again was like, meet me at this class. I have the right person. And I went to Yoga Works. My 3rd yoga class ever was with Mati. Totally gonna cry. Yeah. And I was done. I fell in love with her. She was scary and little and just such a pistol and just spoke to all of the shit that I was reading about and had fallen in love with her for 3 years. It was the spirituality. It was the deep peace. And yet I got my ass kicked. Like she physically kicked my ass at the same time. And I walked away just feeling like, holy shit, this is actually yoga. This is yoga. This is what this is supposed to be.
That's awesome. That it's a much deeper thing than I think is seen on the surface. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, so I teach because it's what I'm supposed to do. I teach because it's why I'm here. I teach because of my teacher and her teachers, and our lineage is clean and clear. It's beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for bringing Mati. For anybody who doesn't know, that's Mati is Radi. She is a yoga teacher that was Hilaire's teacher and thus ended up being a teacher for all of those who attended Hilltop. And we are so lucky that we got to experience her while she was here with us. It was very special. A lot of people, and it was devastating to see to hear of her passing. Yeah. So that ends my questionnaire for you. We don't have to go anytime soon unless you got to get out. Do you have anything else you want to add? Man Child and the Yogi shout out. Hilaire does a podcast.
Man Child and the Yogi is mine and my husband's podcast. And we absolutely are opposite human beings. We have opposing views, but the truth is, at the end of the day, and I think it's really sweet because it's kind of the point of the podcast is when you strip away all of the garbage, when you strip away the different labels or maybe the opposite approach, we all end up in the same place. And I think that kind of is the lesson in yoga in general. He spoke yesterday to, sorry, I was crying.
You almost made me cry and I was really trying to hold it back because I swore I wasn't going to cry on live Facebook.
Always cry. Always crying's the shower for your soul. Cry that shit out. So he spoke yesterday to, he's in recovery, and it's the language is so much the same, and the level of healing and spirituality is so much the same, and learning how to just be in the world where you are presently, right? 12 steps say recovery says show up where you are, and that let it meet you where you are, and it's the same being on the mat. Yesterday he was talking about just know what you say and why you say it. And Iyengar says that in Light on Life. He says, with everything that you do, ask yourself, what am I doing and why am I doing it?
Right. I love that. Yeah.
Really important, really sweet stuff. So, yeah, no, he's a stand-up comedian. He brings an edge that is real, and he's a real dude, and I'm a real human being. I think, what I've taught my teachers, what I've taught you guys to do is to be as honest as you can be as teachers, and to make sure that you bring you and in every possible way into the room as a teacher, which makes the teacher as naked and as vulnerable as the student in the room. But that's the only way that it works.
Right.
Because honest, that's the only way that the give and take happens. And I say this all the time, and this goes back to your last question, and we as teachers, we get as much out of those practices, out of those classes teaching as we do practicing.
Right.
There's a level of healing that is so sweet. And every person that shows up, and I'm learning this virtually as well, doesn't matter. Energy is energy. Every person that shows up on that given day, those are the people that are meant to be there. No one more and no one less. But that's exactly the soup that we're supposed to create on that day. It's really, really lovely. I mean, I don't know. It's a special, special thing that we do.
Right.
You asked a question at the very beginning, and I could have taken that a whole different direction. You said, how has yoga changed? And holy shit, is that a loaded question? Right?
Yeah.
Because we look at the traditional aspects of the practice, and if you Google Mati in her interviews, most of them are traditional yoga versus popular yoga, right? And this controversy between what is popular and essentially unsafe, and what is yoga.
Right.
Right? Because any style of yoga that is traditional, right? Whether it's bhakti or jivanmukti or kundalini, if those limbs are being followed, this is traditional yoga. This is yoga that's saying you are more than your body, you're more than your vehicle. This aesthetic piece does not matter. It does not quantify who you are or what you are. And I think that's the real message that we're trying to get out there is, please don't wake up in the morning in quarantine and look at yourself in the mirror and feel crappy, because we're all eating too much. But look at the benefits to that, you guys. We're all cooking at home.
Right.
Right? I mean, we're cooking meals. You're having a meal with your family. This isn't a bad thing.
Right.
And I mentioned this yesterday, but I was looking at some of the posts and people saying, God, I'm not practicing as much. Well, why?
Good
So
question.
much time right now. Like,
Right.
I'm practicing twice a day.
I'm practicing more. My practice is weird because it involves two kids crawling all over me, but it's still practice.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, because that's really important too. That's something I've always said is, I remember when you were in 500 and I talked about this. Let your kids, let your cats, let your dogs, let them all in the room.
Right.
Because the truth is, the more you separate, the more you separate. That's all there is to it. In quarantine, you're trying to create a family unit, and the more you push out or push away, it creates this idea of separateness. You are not included in this. You don't belong in this right now, and that's not good. That doesn't build stronger families. It doesn't build stronger sanghas. It doesn't build a stronger workplace, etc., etc. We need to be inclusive, which again, I have a different aspect of all of this than other people. I don't agree with this separation at all right now. I think this is breeding violence and fear and a weird anxiety around each other that is so deeply unhealthy. that I don't know what's going to happen when all of this is over with.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see, maybe even like reconvene and talk and see how things have changed. It has created some a really strange anxiety that I've never felt before, and I would rather not feel. But
yeah, I refuse to be anxious about it. I refuse to be afraid of it. I refuse to be worried about it. It just, what does that do? What purpose does that serve? For me to be afraid of the dude that's next to me in the grocery store, what does that say about me? What does that say about me as a human being?
right.
I mean, right now, the idea has to be us as human beings together, not separate, because
Right.
we won't get through this.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, it's not gonna work.
I mean, you know, Jesse sent me that thing that I posted. What was the podcast? I can't remember it right now. NPR. Anyways, talked about the antibodies and how one person that gets tested that has the antibody can save 3 people.
That's awesome. I've tried my best to, and I'm an NPR junkie. I'll say it out loud. I really love NPR, but I have not listened to any of it because it was putting me in a really deep spiral of anxiety. So.
Yeah. But I mean, think about that. I think that's a really interesting loop around or dichotomy, however you want to look at it, because as much as we're saying you have to be separate, what's going to heal us is each other.
Right. And that's a really great lesson right there, or just a great takeaway from this. So,
I mean, I believe in caution. I'm not a fool.
Yeah.
I have my homemade mask from my mom, but I believe that there still needs to be this feeling of we are all in this together on a worldwide, on a global scope. Like, and it's yoga's job to do that.
Right, because it's the unity that we're looking for, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the practice of union. That's its meaning.
Right. For anybody listening who is a brand new yogi, yoga is a Sanskrit for the word union or yoking, which is bringing everyone together. So that's the deep meaning beyond the down dogs or beyond the mountain pose. So
yeah, I mean, that would be my best takeaway is please just get beyond the down dogs.
Yeah, yes.
There are 8 limbs. And if you're a Hatha yogi, there are 10 limbs.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there are more limbs in that system, in the Hatha yoga. Pradipika.
Oh, yeah. I actually had, long story short, I lost that book. I got to get it back.
Well, don't get it back. I actually pulled it out of the mix of teacher training.
Yeah.
I think we should go back to the book. I think the translation I was using was hard for people because the intro in that Yogi Hari translation is a little dogmatic and he picks on other styles. So people had like an adverse reaction to it. So we'll see. I mean, for anyone who's a 500, I'm doing a 750-hour training and we jump into the Upanishads. And man, you want a great text on yoga. This is turning into my like second favorite next to Light on Life with Iyengar.
That's a good one. So maybe I'll sit down instead of Hatha Yoga Pradipika.
I mean, the Hatha Yoga is beautiful. The slokas, the verses are really amazing, but I just think we need to find the kindest translation, which I have not yet found. So.
Well, again, thank you for this. Again, I feel like it's like a Zoom call that we just put out there. Like I'm talking with my friend. Do you have anything else you want to say? Because this is live on Facebook, so everyone's watching this. Anything about anything?
No, just trust your yoga. I mean, it's how I found my cancer. It's how I believe I survived my cancer. Just trust your yoga. Do it from the deepest pieces of you. That's all. Don't just bounce around.
Yeah, for sure. I look forward to reading your book when it comes out.
I'm excited. I sent it to the editor yesterday.
Guys, Hilaire's got a good story to tell. So when this is out, you should definitely get her book. Lots and lots of good stuff. I'm sure will be.
You can read my bio. It's all pretty much there, shortened.
Well, I am going to let you go. My children, speaking of not being separated, they have been separated, so they won't come into this and interrupt with any kid stuff. You know.
They were so good.
They were really good. I'm a little I'm curious on what they're doing. They're
actually up to you. The quiet is always worse than the loud.
Okay, here comes
Good.
Andrew.
We're down here. Everything's under control with the kids.
Yay!
Aww.
Hey, Hillary, are your dogs with you in Chicago? I thought I saw a little furry butt walk by.
Yeah, we have way too many furries in this house. 2 cats, 2 dogs.
You need to go potty. Oh, hello, meow. I saw that kitty in your bed. You have to go potty.
Aw. All right, love.
Bye, Miss Hillary. Say bye. Namaste to her. Okay, no, she's just got to go potty.
Thank you so much. I love you.
I love you so much. Thank you for coming. I will see you hopefully Sunday for church.
Yes. Shanti, Shanti.
Shanti.
Bye.